Meghalaya Pradesh Youth Congress kala Dawa ba ki engineer ki badon banta banchna ki assembly bathma ki de bancha weng shwa shipor bat kumju menteri badekmi ude ban har shwiki no daladi bat ki break badon hakabor ki de ban chim ya ki jingit clear hagani ka kinti ki MPYC kala patchem ba ka kintin chalte hai lese ka de ka bayat kambha hagani ka sarkar ka bamanta ha jylla hapo ka jinglam jo ka seng NPP ka bawat ye ki kam ki behe bat barat ba ha jylla ki baladep bantai ne ki bedang don ru hapdeng ke jingtei ye ki lepen pau lut phar ye ki dak kishin jong ke jingtei torti ne ki badaya light ru ya ki kendon ki samla jong ke seng congress hapo ka lama jong ka kumta ki samla jong ke MPYC kai ka ba ki lapat ki syam ha ke jing bodin ke jongki ke long bahalo ke jingpei jong ka ISBT ba ke jing khlem jong ke dom ne ke trum pelun jong ke yang dorbar thawan padang tei menta ha mau diang diang ka sarkar hi kala suyat light hagi babun ki phang ne tang ban biang ka maladi ne ke shimet jong no re susu ki khot ke MPYC ki dap ta ke jing sngo kendet ban syam ba ui patat hadu ki ki khlemat ke bamenta ya ke benta jong ke trum pelun ke bla khlem pat chim la khangdam pura no swa yaka pat ki nong tri bla ki dang yai tre yai ta kum ba ke julong
The issues that's affecting our state right now. The first one, yes, we've seen about the government initiative to convert or to change the social fabric of our state, turning Shillong, turning Meghalaya to a gambling hub instead of the well-known educational hub that we are proud of. This move by the government calling for investors from ashore, right, to start investing in our state for things which are not right. We have a huge population of students coming to Shillong from different parts of the country, and we doubt that once Shillong or Meghalaya is turned to a gambling hub, whether our state will continue to be known as an educational hub, because parents will have from different states will have doubts whether their child will turn to gamblers or whether they can contribute to our state as educated and resourceful persons. Yes, they are in power, but we should not allow them to just bulldoze the authorities. They should not bulldoze the people of the state by not getting a simple building permission for their office. And then when we look at the assembly building, the dome that tumble, heads should roll, we believe. The engineer who's supervising the project, action should be taken against him. The minister in charge should take moral responsibility. He should step down. What concerns us more is till today there are workers in the site. We've heard that the high power committee that they've met maybe yesterday or 2-3 days back, that they've stated that evidence will be collected, samples will be sent to the labs. But if people are still there in the site, chances of tampering might occur. So as a youth congress, as a responsible party, we feel that the place should be sealed immediately. We shouldn't allow anyone to tamper with any kind of evidence available on the site. So that's one part of our concern. The other thing is, when we look at the allocation of the project, the tender clause, the project was allocated to UPRNN Limited, Private Limited, or which is a PSU, right? And according to the tender clause, only 40% of the contract can be allocated to a subcontract. And here the subcontract was allocated to BRC, the Badri Rai construction. Only 40% should be allocated to them, 40% of the contract value. But what we know, what is there, like on the ground, the subcontract took over the entire project, and 100% of the work was completed by them. So this is another concern of ours. So they have flouted the rules, they flouted the norms, they flouted the tender clause. It was in the tender clause that only 40% of the contract value can be allocated to a subcontract. So questions, we have these questions. The government, the people in power, the people responsible have to answer these questions. They have to come clean. Clarity should be provided to the people of the state. They owe us an explanation. They can't take us for a ride. They've been taking us for a ride for a pretty long time. 5 years is about to complete, and in these 5 years, we've seen the amount of destruction, the amount of maybe resources going down the drain is humongous in our state. Poor people, the commoners are suffering, but we can see that people in power right now, people who are in the government right now, their houses are sturdy, they have big, huge houses, and yes, the weather gods has played their part, but what is surprising is all the government projects are going down the drain, whereas their house has turned to palaces, and those palaces have been adorned by beautiful cars. And this can't happen. This can't continue this can't continue now or ever.
If the government is to take moral responsibility, and not just moral responsibility but physical as well as authoritative responsibility on the same, by now heads should be rolling. It is understood it is a public building, it is for the safety of the public at large, it's the temple of democracy. You can't play around with it the way it's being played right now. And we believe that there's an intention to even probably hide evidence of what is exactly happening from the structural point of view. Because you would notice, even a layman would understand exactly the way the entire structure crumbled that day shows that the quality of work is quite bad. Blaming it on design, I think, is something which is very far-fetched. Yes, inquiry should be held on all these three things: design, in terms of execution of work, and so on and so forth. But at least the crime scene, right, the site that has happened, that should have been sealed. That's very important in order to show that there's a fair investigation that is supposed to be carried out. I think it's a blatant, I think it's a blatant misuse of power,
Yes.
a blatant disregard not just for the sentiments of the people, but rather even for the rule of the land that has always existed through our forefathers and so on and so forth. And it's just superimposing it with certain rules and regulations or laws that God knows becomes the logic of a few heads, rather than taking what we call as a democratic process into action, which has always been the pride of what we, the Khasis, and we, the people of Meghalaya as such per se, were like in the past. So that disregard definitely it's rearing its ugly face, and we believe that this disregard will definitely be retrospective. I will not just say retrospective, but it'll be something which is not constructive at all in the long run, and we will suffer. Definitely, we are already suffering and will continue to suffer, and that is something which we, as at least from the youth's perspective or from the younger generation of the state, would definitely like to see being amended in the years to come. And we will fight and fight to make these amendments, and we one day will definitely succeed in making these amendments, and at least the protection of our general public and our citizens at large will be taken care of. And that will take some time, but definitely we will not just keep quiet. It will be a long drawn process. Yeah.